Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing this custom Jeep Wrangler 392. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Wrangler. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check what they have currently. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Brad. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are a whopping 470 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque, and it looks like 24 is the last year that this powertrain will be available. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you can see the hydro guide there in the center, which is one of the ways you can tell that this is a 392 versus a regular Wrangler. Now this has these custom 392 badges. You can see the red instead of the normal bronze you get with a 392. And then we've got these pod lights added on either side. So obviously adds a level of practicality, but also gives it kind of like a cooler appearance. And then being a 24, we've got the new grille here, which, you know, again, people say that they like the previous grille more, but like, there's a previous grille, right? That's on the Gladiator, but still, you can see, look, hood scoop and previous grille versus the new look. The new look just looks better. Now, of course, got the upgraded headlights with this. You can see the LED daytime running lights. And then this has the stock bumper, as you can see. It's the upgraded one that you can get with the Rubicon. But notice the tow hooks have been painted red to match the badges, so just like on a regular Rubicon, quote unquote regular Rubicon, right? And then you got pod lights here, and then you've got the winch. And this is the cool thing about this bumper is you can add this to add lights, and you can also put a winch into the bumper from the factory. You don't have to do an aftermarket bumper, which saves you quite a bit of money. But putting it all together, again, with all the pod lights and everything, again, it has a much more unique look compared to stock. Now around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 37 by 12.5 by 17 in the front and over in the rear. And you can see the wheels here with the silver, and then notice how it's like blacked out in the center. I think that's a really cool look. Kind of has more of a kind of retro theme to it. But yeah, these are mud terrain tires, so they are going to be a bit louder on road, but obviously they look cooler than all-terrain tires, and you get quite a bit more grip off-road. Now with 392, it's an Extreme Recon as standard, so you've got the fender flare extensions, which are great because then when you put 37s on it, you don't have to worry about them poking out a crazy amount. You can see the back ones, actually under the little fender flare thing, it's technically not, it looks like it's pretty much even with the offset. I was gonna say it looks almost a little bit negative, but it's pretty even. But anyways, that's the benefit of that. And then you can also see we've got these fixed side steps here, and I think that's pretty cool with it. They also double as a rock rail, which is another nice feature. But the exciting stuff is the fact that this has been lifted. You can see the upgraded spring there. And then we do have a steering stabilizer, it looks like, as well. I always think steering stabilizers look so cool when you look at it from the front, just to see that, and then the solid front axle as well. But when you put the lift together with the steering stabilizer and all of that, there's your full side view. Gives it a really cool stance. Then when you kind of look underneath, you can see some of the parts, and that's kind of what adds to the cool factor. But yeah, the 392 on 37s, I think that's the sweet spot for this rig. Now another cool part about the 392 and Extreme Recons is they come with this reinforcement here so that you can put a bigger tire, and it can hold a 37, as you can see. And again, we've got another one of those custom wheels, and then the tow hook here in the back has been painted red. And yeah, you can see the exhaust tips. So on this one, you're going to have to look at the exhaust tips to tell if it's a 392 or a Rubicon, regular Rubicon. And then you can see we still have the stock shocks with this, which actually say Rubicon on it. And then you have the stock bumper as well, which again, hardcore already from the factory. But putting it all together, let me guys think about the looks of this, but I think this thing looks pretty sweet with everything they've put into it. And then popping inside, this build will make a lot more sense. You can see we've got this contrast between black and red, just like on the exterior, but this is stock. This is what the 392s come with now from the factory. And you can see on the seats, they're all red from the factory. And the window sticker is actually back here, so we'll take a quick look at this. You can see the base MSRP, and then basically just have destination and I guess floor mats and the paint color. But this is how I would probably order an Extreme or I don't know why I'm saying Extreme Recon, but a 392, because then you've got more money left over. I mean, still expensive, but you've got more left over for aftermarket parts like what this one happens to have. Anywho, before we pop up to the front, I almost forgot to mention all the badges here on the side have been blacked out, which kind of goes with the theme. But again, you can see with the stitching there, and then notice with the red on the seat, so it all matches. And then I will say these steps, like, I mean, they kind of help out, but then you still have to use the grab handle. So I think they help with getting in, but getting out, they're kind of in the way a little bit. But anyways, you can see the red accenting here, so black stitching at like the top. Then you got red accenting across the dash. And even this, I mean, that's always red on all of the Wranglers, so that kind of matches the theme. And then the steering wheel now, again, this is all factory, has red on it, so it just matches the theme outside. And if you're not familiar with 392, it's basically, I mean, here, we'll start it up. It's got a big loud V8, but it's basically a fully loaded Rubicon. So you can see you've got front rear lockers, you've got your sway bar disconnect, you've got an advanced 4-wheel drive system, 2-speed transfer case as well. You've got stuff like off-road cruise control, and this has the double camera. So you've got, and you can see the pod lights do get in the way of that front camera a bit. But yeah, basically just a fully loaded Rubicon, and it sounds... It sounds really good. I've reviewed a few of these 24 392, so you can go look at those reviews if you want more exhaust action and all of that. Okay, so we are going to set off. I'm just taking this back to its parking space. No driving impressions on this particular 392, but again, I've already reviewed several 392s. I reviewed lifted ones as well, so yeah, I know exactly how this is going to drive. Basically, when you put 37s on 392, it frankly doesn't really drive any different compared to stock, which I think is a good thing, because the stock 392 drives pretty dang well. The biggest thing that I will say is with the 24 392s, the steering's a little bit more direct. It has like kind of a heavier feel to it as well. So I'd say the 24 392s are just kind of a little bit better with the driving, and then also, you know, with the windshield antenna and the extra cabin insulation and everything, it just leads to a better daily driving experience overall. So 24 392 is more daily drivable, and look, they've got a green one there, Sarge green with the winch. Pretty cool setup. But I wanted to do this little kind of like closing thing, so instead of you guys looking at my face, you can look at the dash, I guess, of the 392. I think this build is done really well. I think that this is kind of the route that most people should do with the 392. Now, I will say I have recommended the AEV kit on the Wranglers with the, oh, it looks like that one's already sold. Anyways, with the Bilstein shocks and everything, and I still stand by that recommendation, is AEV kit with the Bilstein shocks and all that, because that lifts it a little bit, that gives you the steering stabilizer, and I guess that I am not... You know what's funny? This is so random, but this is happening. Curbs are harder to get over than rocks. Like, seriously, curbs on road, it literally will not go up. Okay, let's put it in 4-wheel high. Let's try this again. It's just in reverse. Obviously, if I was going forward, it'd be a little bit of a different story. There we go. Yeah, sometimes the Wrangler's 4-wheel drive system just doesn't want to participate when it's in 4-wheel auto with these 392s. That's something I've noticed. So I guess that's another thing that's good to show in the video here. And the articulation with this, like, you guys probably can't tell on camera very well, but this is decently, let's see if I'm on this all the way. Yeah, I'm good. This is decently off camber. Now we'll pop it back into 4-wheel auto with the parking brake up. But anyways, as I was saying, yeah, I think that's the kit that I would go for with the 392. Is probably that Bilstein kit, but you can still keep the stock shocks and everything with this, and that's fine. Like what this build does, it'll still drive really well. So let me know you guys think about this build. I think this is how the 24 392 should have come from the factory, because of, if they're going to change the interior to red, like the bronze accenting, like that green one, for example, that just drove by, really cool looking car. But think about this, it is a green car with bronze accents on the outside and then red inside. Like, it's just, there's a lot going, very Christmassy with that theme, I guess, because you have the bronze, the kind of like gold, right? Gold, green, and red. So the point that I'm trying to make here is this just makes a lot more sense, and especially with this build being black inside and out, black and red, and then black and red on the outside. And it's kind of funny because the contrast, because the exterior is mostly black, whereas the interior is mostly red, so there's kind of that cool contrast as well. Let me know what you guys think about this 392 build, and let me know if you've experienced the same thing with the four-wheel drive auto and the 392s. It seems like it's in the traction control system. Again, when the Jeeps are in four-wheel low, they're like crawling, like they can crawl over anything. But in four-wheel high, it seems like they really struggle, especially with these, I mean, that curb's like, I don't know, 4 inches tall. It's so tiny, but yeah, that's all.